how are you? It's Blue. Recently I have been hyperfixated on My Little Pony, rewatching it every now and then, so to express my adoration for Twilight Sparkle and her friends, the art style, and the community surrounding the Gen 4 show, I will be designing my main OCs if they were in the show and making a sona for myself. That might have been a lot of information, but let's start now. So I first had the idea for this video after sketching the designs in my sketchbook. I don't know why I felt like drawing ponies, but that's what I did. So I started drawing and then I was like, oh, this would make great content. I also decided to make a pony sona for myself, so that will be shown at the end. I will first be starting off with HELLOOO, which is this character. She loves fashion and accessories and makeup. I feel like she would make a great unicorn. But this has nothing to do with Rarity liking fashion and being a unicorn at the same time. It just made sense for her to be a unicorn. For me, it doesn't make sense for her to be a Pegasus or a Nerf pony. I can't see it. It was not my intention to copy Rarity. I usually have a semi-realistic style, but I decided to mix mine with the My Little Pony art style, so it made this cute little cartoony blend. I gave my OCs more exaggerated features and maybe a more cartoony look. I love the idea that Gia's raccoon tail hair would extend to her tail. It just makes sense in my head. And I also did this like curved horn thing because while researching for this video I was on Pinterest and people on Pinterest did that and I thought it looked really cool, and so I did that as well. I had a really fun time drawing the My Little Pony anatomy, and because in my normal art style I wouldn't draw ponies like this, it was just really fun to experiment and leave my comfort zone. And I also know that drawing in a different art style supposedly helps to improve your own. So there's that. By the way, I'm really sorry if you hear this like clicky noise. It's my desk being loud. So I did the line art, then I colored the drawing in, I added a multiply layer and shaded, and then added a screen layer and added like lights and the shining, I guess. On top of that, I also added more details and stuff to make the drawing more alive and pretty. And now on to the next one, Louis, not the ambulances. Anyways, I wondered for a bit what Louis would be, and I was like, maybe a Nerf pony. I know he wasn't gonna be a unicorn, he just is not that vibe. So I was like either a Nerf pony or a Pegasus, and I knew I already wanted some of my other OCs to be Earth ponies, so a Pegasus just fitted very well. So my main OCs all have colors associated to them. For example, Gia's colors are black, brown, and pink. Louis's are green and brown. Zane's are brown and blue. Why are there so many browns? What the hell? Okay, anyways, I decided to extend that color palette a little more since ponies usually are pretty saturated and colorful. As you can see, I was trying to incorporate more brown, but I was like, this needs a little twist. And since the red would match his cutie mark, which you will see later on, I decided it would be a Create Edition. Honestly, I might implement red a little more onto his actual design. It just looks really cool with him. I know cutie marks are supposed to represent your aspiration in life or whatever brings you joy. And I wanted to do something like that, but I just didn't feel like going too much into it. So I made some mittens for Louis since he loves to bake. Gia's cutie mark is a camera which reflects her love for like attention and her focus on her looks, since that's her whole thing. In conclusion, don't read too much into the cutie marks because I also didn't. Damn, these speed paints are really over. Anyways, I saw this thing on Pinterest as well, where people were drawing the tails with like a little extension of the skin and then just a bit of hair at the bottom, if you know what I mean. I did that with Louis, as you saw, and it's the most noticeable, but I also implemented that onto Zayn's design. I wanted to keep Zayn's wolf-like features at least a little bit, and you can see that in his ears, in his mouth, like in his teeth. And I usually draw his pupils, or try to at least. I try to draw his pupils a little smaller than the rest. And I also did that on here, which is way more noticeable since their eyes are huge compared to what I usually draw. His cutie mark obviously had to be a broken crown. I think the cutie mark I was most sure about would be his. But why not just a broken crown? I mean, there's a heart in the middle. Well, he did that for love. He changed his fate, which would be of royalty, because of love. Of love not just for Louis, which would just be implemented later on, but also love for himself.
Hey, I'm so smart.
What was that? His design has a lot of golden, which is already present in his normal design, as you can see. But I also added that onto the hooves, his hairstyle, and just all over. I actually love how this turned out. His design is very simple, but I think very effective. The colors just work, and I'm very proud. And now on to Kim's design. Kim's color is yellow. As I said earlier, everyone has their own color and hers is yellow. But I decided to give her a different main color for her body, which is this cute little salmon pink. And it goes a lot with her character. It just looks very good because, I mean, in the beginning I was thinking of doing her hair yellow and her body in a different shade of yellow, but still yellow, and that just looked wrong. So I went with the salmon pink, which also makes it easier for me to add her vitiligo in yellow spots, of course. If she was in the show, she would definitely be friends with Fluttershy. They just have the same energy. And Kim also loves animals. The other day I actually was debating on which career to give her. I think she would very much be into like medicine, and I was wondering if you guys think like animal medicine, like if she would be a vet, which would be very in character. I don't know, what do you think? Anyways, about her cutie mark, I was actually pretty uncertain on what to do for her, so I went with her flower since she's very like delicate, and also added some hearts to represent her kindness and softness and how cute she is. Oh, I forgot to mention, Fluttershy is my favorite main character. And now for the last design, we have my PONYSONA. Yay! This is based off IRL me, but also not quite. This pony is my idealized version if she was a pony. I in fact do not have long curly hair adorned with little flowers as I would love to, but that's just reality. Since this is basically a reflection of me, I had to go with the pony species I was most fond of, which is Pegasi. I love Pegasi, they have always been my favorites, and although being a unicorn would be very helpful since I'm an artist, I need wings, okay? Sue me. The cutie mark I came up with for myself represents blooming creativity. Yes, very, very original. I know every other artist on the planet, when it comes to making a PONYSONA, draws some type of art supply like a pencil or a paintbrush or maybe a digital tablet, I don't know. But I'm not like that, so I went with a light bulb with some flowers and sparkles, which would resemble blooming creativity, like ideas and stuff, which honestly is more relatable for me than just a pencil, because I make arts in various mediums. I write, I study music, I draw, of course, I am learning to paint, I sculpt, all sort of stuff. I gave my hooves a little slit because it looks really nice, and at the end I came up with the name Flory Swirl due to the flowers and swirls and little things that I put in my designs. I actually kinda like it. Man, it's hard to come up with names. A fun fact about me and My Little Pony is that MLP is not a childhood show for me. I only started watching it in my late childhood, like pre-teens. Who could have guessed? All of these pieces were very fun to make, a little tedious at the end, but pretty fun. They all took around 2 hours or 1.5, something like that, which is actually not that bad for a fully rendered piece. I don't know if you noticed, but this time around I made a different background with pictures from Pinterest because it just looks more aesthetically coherent. Wow, Pinterest really is in a spotlight today, huh? Designing my PONYSONA has really inspired me to redesign my Sona, so I might just do that. Anyways, I loved making this video. Let me know what you think of it. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great attention span. Did you know that? What are your thoughts? What do you think? And if you had a cutie mark, what would it be? Let me know. Bye!